Thank you so much, everybody who has come to celebrate with me tonight, not only my birthday, but also what I have done through the years. And I now realize that I have got many friends. I don't know who my enemies are. I don't even want to find out. But I've got so many friends that have made my life a beautiful journey. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you do enjoy what you see tonight. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I can't share my whiskey with you. You are too many. This is about the 6-6, Klopse, and African cultures. And I've just married all the Klopse, the Hollandse team. I've just put it into one, because it's the same kind of action that you see in the drawings. It's reflected in the color works. Because that's the nature of community. Nee, jere kind, ons ken maar jaren, yes. Ons ken mekaar donkies jaren. Dus ons nog juveniles geweest in district 6 bestaan, zie. Those is oud en kabakkel. En krimpel.
En doofarbeid. En doof en blind.
En blind. Nee, maar ik is eruit, ik druk nog mijn dop bestaan.
En movie stars.
En movie stars, hoe komt dat? Want niks verkeerd met movie stars, dan weet je. Als je poort drekkers is alles alright. Susan, bye my sweetie pie. I'm just... As a child growing up in District 6, I became aware of white prejudice. Because at the time I was born, there were still whites living in District 6. Their own businesses, their own homes. And I became aware of the prejudice. Not only from those who own businesses, and those who still lived in District 6, but also from the police, white police. So everyone that was white was supposed to be right, bright, beautiful. And black was not a consideration. So I became aware of this, and because of this strong feelings about what was wrong, I started going to political rallies to find out what it is that I did not know about the country in which I lived, because you did not learn anything at school. I went to a colored school, and even there was prejudice, and what we were taught is what government wanted us to learn. So I had to go to political rallies in the 60s or late 50s, early 60s, to begin to understand what is happening in our country. Well, this is the time, when we were in the 80s, when the Boer were mal, and we had to have our own forms of media to counter their propaganda, and the screen printing was our way of countering that. And you can see, although I took this from a Russian poster, but this is all South African in the background. So we did many of these posters, working on a non-sectarian basis, working for all progressive organizations, from the church, from the youth, from young political activists, and so forth. So that is my claim to fame, doing this. Tribute to Cape Women, National Women's Day. We don't want passes. Jerry, I'm so happy that you could come.
Man, wonderful, brilliant exhibition. Listen, I've got an idea.
Yeah.
When it's over, they've all been beautifully framed. You must have a great sale.
Okay, we'll see what
I think you should. I've spoken to Mario. He said I should speak to you.
Okay, no, we'll talk
about that.
And then we'll talk about it.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
I know which one I'll bid for.
Okay.
I need to steal a scene with the young man.
Yeah, man. I wanted to improve my education, and so I went to night school, and that is when I made contact with the with APDUSA, the African People's Democratic Union of South Africa. And I joined, and that is where my real lessons on South Africa started. And eventually, when Neville Alexander, Marcus Solomon and others came along and they had formed the National Liberation Front, I decided to join. Young, full of romantic and idealistic ideas, I thought, yes, the only way that we can really transform society is if we take up arms against government. So I joined, but we were very inexperienced, and of course we recruited the wrong people, and of course soon the cops, the special branch, got to know about us. We were one by one rounded up, picked up, arrested, put under 90 days. I didn't have to say much because by the time I was put under 90 days detention, the cops already knew everything about us. So we had to go on a waiting trial in Roland Street, which is now the archives. And in 1964, we were sentenced for conspiring against the apartheid government. Yeah, we appeared in the Cape Town Supreme Court, and we were sentenced, 11 of us sentenced for conspiring against government, conspiracy to commit acts of sabotage acts of violence. Some of us were given 10 years, some 7 and some 5. So 4 women in our group were sent to another jail in the Free State, Kroonstad jail, and the 7 men went to the island. And my experience of Robben Island initially was traumatic because it was the intention of government to cripple our enthusiasm, to make us pay for daring to confront them. So initially things were tough. If we wanted to survive jail, we had to learn to live together, stand together. And that was the beginning of sharing food, being educated by fellow political prisoners. And for me, that is one of the most remarkable experiences that I had, because that is where I learned to live together with other South Africans. That is where we all learned to live together. If there had been white comrades, it would have been even better. And I think that those lessons that we learned there is what kept me throughout my post-jail experiences. Jail was traumatic, but house arrest was even worse. Most people placed under house arrest left the country, packed up their families and left, because you either break your banning orders and go to jail, or you will suffer a nervous breakdown. I stuck it out, but it was traumatic. I was under house arrest for 5 years, which was, as I said, a very traumatic experience. I had never interacted with a white community. There was no relationship really. And then, of course, as a worker, the kind of worker-boss relationship. It was after my house arrest at the end of 77. I was now free to move around. My house arrest order had now stopped. And that's when I came across the Community Arts Project. I had started engaging in making art because I did that as a child. I had the time on my hand. I wanted to do something to break down the storm of mine. And I started just doodling. But then I came across SCAP. And here was an organization which I then discovered everybody was welcome. Regardless if you were rich or poor, black or white, everybody was treated equally. You did drama together, you made music together, you drew together, you do everything together. And for me, it was the first moment in my life where it felt almost as if I was living in a liberated society, in that space. And in many ways, it was similar to the life that we had made for ourselves as prisoners on Robben Island, regardless of the apartheid regime. And I was attracted to the community arts project for those reasons. And besides learning to make art, learning about color, learning to print, learning to draw, it was also an interaction with other people on an equal basis. That was a great stimulant for me. And my travels through in my arts journey has always been to connect with people, to break down those barriers that had kept us away from each other for hundreds of years.
Look, as I said, I only started late making art at the age of 41. But then I already had 7 years as a prisoner, political prisoner on Robben Island. I had 5 years of a very traumatic house arrest. I went to art for the first time, learning to play with paint and the like. I went to other art schools. We had to find a way of being of service to the anti-apartheid movement. The one joyous thing for me, and I pride myself in that, is that we did not work on a sectarian base. We were open to all progressive organizations. Whether you were pro-ANC, whether you were pro-PAC, whether you were pro-unity movement, whether you were from the call of Islam, it did not matter whether you were from the church, whether we were activist youth like the Cape Youth Congress and others. We worked with you, we worked for you. And the most important thing is we did not do the work for you. We taught you to do the thing. We would show you how to print a poster, how to print a t-shirt. And you would then learn something because you would be equipped with the skills to be able to reproduce those things in your own time, in your own community. But one of the dangers that activists, youth especially, even the old topies and aunties, was that all of the townships were being guarded by the security police, by the army. And everything and anyone that goes past those checkpoints would be interrogated. So if you were from the colored community, you don't easily get in there. If you were from the white community, you don't get into the townships. You do not put up this poster long before the event because the cops would come and tear it down. What you did is you would put up you would actually tie these posters around your ample body. All right, you come in thin, you go out fat, but your whole body's been tied with posters. And at a strategic moment, you will paste up those posters. T-shirts, somebody died. Somebody was killed by the police, by the security police. Somebody went to the gallows. Somebody was assassinated. We would get the image, a photo of that person who died, and we would then make a print and have that T-shirt, that image of you on that T-shirt. And it would say, Habagasle, go well at the time of your death, in your death, go well, depart peacefully. That's what we did. It was a badge of honor that you then wore. And these are the things, again, that you would see in my exhibition. So these are very different strands of my whole experience, stretching over 40 years. I do not work for the arts market. I am not a career artist. I make art for the sheer joy of making art. And what you will see in that exhibition is 40 years of real enjoyment. You know, you can make art every day, but you cannot sell art every day. And I realized going that way was going to be a dead end for me, and I never went that way. All of the work, or most of the work that you see at the exhibition, I've been storing it in my house for decades. It's cobwebs, you know, and rusted, and I had to scrub it off and put it together again. But that is what you will see. And when I got this exhibition, oh, Jannekant, I had to go dust off and spray, you know, and paint, and to get the thing to look at least decent. And thanks to the curators, and that is Tina Smith of the District 6 Museum, Aisha from Asai, and also the District 6 Museum, and Amy Sodin, young but very energetic with lots of ideas, and the three of them made this exhibition. And they did a most remarkable job, something that I could never have done because I would be too, subjective in my taste and my desires. No, they just rejected me. I had to shut up, and they did the work. And I am thankful that I have had the opportunity to show my work here. How are you, Grant? Yes, sis. Ek is so blij jullie zien vandaag.
Ik is zo blij met je.
Hi, jullie. Ja, precies zo is het. With our daughter. Hi, here, and one of my grandsons. Hi, here, ek is blij jy kom en maak my. Hi, here. Hi, sick. I feel so happy. Thank you, darling.
I'm so pleased we can be here.
Yeah.
So pleased. And it was a lovely.
It was just something, so special. Hi, Jannekant.
I missed your speeches, but I'm here.
They were just beautiful. The way they...
About curating and about design and layout.
I just had to sit down, do nothing. They did the work. Ik moet mijn bek houden.
How are you?
I am well, man. I'm well. I am so overwhelmed by the beautiful support.
Wonderful.
Yeah, for coming. Thank you, man. Ons gaan zien.
Only a beautiful exhibition, eh?
Thank you, man.
You did an excellent job.
The curators. The curators.
Yes. But your art,
Oh, thank you. And then I was fishing, you know. Thank you. Yeah. You give me a birthday kiss. Thank you, man.
Well, Cookie.
Congratulations on the breathtaking one.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
This is only a portion of it.
Yeah, no. Alleen best goed uitgegooid.
I learned it.
Yes, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I've been thinking of all the places, you know.
I think you've got another whole exhibition at home that still has to be.
Oh, Jannekant, there's too many things. I'm so happy that you guys could come. See. Why do you think I'm standing? I'm getting all the kisses now. I'm not going to kiss you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
What a birthday, hey?
Hello, Auntie. Look at me, Osa. Is it all right, Auntie? Lekker voor jou te zien, Auntie. I think when I make art, the joy comes by engaging with materials, any materials. You, as a child, the privileged children go to school and then they get an opportunity to play with clay, to mess with paint. I never had that. I started to really play when I got my first formal art lessons at CAP. And when I got to Pello in 1986, even greater joy, messing with paint, throwing paint, scratching, you know. We did the most wonderful things with materials that were laying about.
And for me, doing art at this moment is an extension of that play. I just get completely absorbed. I love food. I told you I'm on a seafood diet, but I love eating. But when I am working, sometimes I actually forget to eat because it becomes so totally absorbed in making. It's just a very liberating feeling to sit down, to draw, to make art. I still love it. You look in my yard, you look all over, you will see things that I made, some good, some bad, some ugly, but it's still all my creativity. The opening night of an exhibition was on my birthday, yes. My 81st birthday. And it was one of the most exciting things that I experienced.
Are you amazed that you have lived till 81?
Not really amazed, with good company like Barbara's, who's ever telling me, don't eat that. No, don't eat that. It's not good for you. Yet I've had to listen. And I'm sure she has a lot to do with my still being around and being able to kick a ball.